did you see it? I mean, did you actually witness the impossible?
It felt like it, didn't it?
The dynasty just crumbled. The Youngbloods, they didn't just challenge the Kings, they straight up dethroned them.
Game 4.
Game 4. Lakers versus Timberwolves. This wasn't just a loss. It felt like a line drawn in the sand, like something shifted.
A major shift. You have to wonder.
Were the Lakers exposed? You know, as maybe relics? Was Anthony Edwards' performance the coronation?
That's the narrative building, for sure.
Forget what you think you know, because we're diving deep, like really deep, into the absolute chaos of this pivotal NBA playoff clash.
Absolutely. That Timberwolves victory over the Lakers, it was, well, more than just an upset. It was a massive statement.
Right.
So our mission here in this deep dive is really to dissect the key moments, the elements of this Game 4 showdown. We're drawing from all the intense reactions, the analysis.
Yeah, the stuff flying around immediately after.
Exactly, to truly understand how this power shift actually happened.
Okay, so let's start with that idea, the Lakers' infant stability. Because coming into this, there was this aura, wasn't there?
Definitely. You've got LeBron James, a living legend.
And Luka Dončić, another Titan. The feeling was almost like their experience, their, championship DNA.
That it would just sort of see them through inevitably.
Right. But the Timberwolves just came out with this relentless energy, this sheer desire.
It was palpable.
The commentary we looked at really hammers this point. The Timberwolves' heart versus the Lakers' almost complacent belief in their own status.
Yeah, like they expected to win.
What struck you most about that contrast in intensity, like right from the tip-off?
Well, what was particularly telling was how that energy actually translated into tangible actions on the court. The Timberwolves seemed to win all those hustle plays, the 50-50 balls, the battles on the boards. It wasn't just talk.
They just seemed hungrier.
Exactly. While the Lakers might have the pedigree, playoff success often hinges on that relentless effort, that collective will. Minnesota came in with a much clearer sense of urgency.
And speaking of pedigree versus performance, let's talk Luka Dončić.
Okay.
35 points. I mean, that's a heck of a night for almost anyone.
On paper, yes.
But the analysis we're looking at really questions how effective it actually was. It paints this picture of frustration.
Yeah, hunting fouls, throwing tantrums.
Looking lost in crunch time.
Yeah.
More concerned with arguing with the refs than, leading the team when it mattered.
We saw the step backs, the flexing.
Oh, yeah, the highlight reel stuff was there.
But then you also saw the complaining, the body language when calls didn't go his way.
And the assessment boils down to big numbers and a big loss. Does a high score like that just lose its shine when it doesn't lead to a win, especially in the playoffs?
It certainly raises questions, big questions about leadership, about impact. In these high-stakes playoff games, your ability to maintain focus, composure, even when things aren't perfect.
That's paramount, right?
Absolutely. A leader's demeanor, it's contagious. If your key guys look frustrated, look distracted, it filters down through the whole team. Doesn't matter what the stat sheet says at the end. Okay,
so flip the coin. The other side of the court, Anthony Edwards.
Ant-Man, wow.
The commentary is practically crowning him. I'm not Neck XT. I'm now.
That's a powerful quote.
And his game backed it up completely.
We're talking explosive drives, that crossover, the dagger threes, even going right at LeBron.
Fearless.
The description we have is pretty vivid. Spinning past LeBron, leaping over Vinny Smith, flexing on Austin Reeves. That's some serious confidence.
It's more than confidence, it's dominance.
So what do you think made his performance so dominant? Beyond just the raw talent, the physical gifts, were there specific tactics the Wolves used?
Well, beyond his just undeniable talent, Edwards played with this palpable sense of conviction. He wasn't deferring, not at all.
He was taking charge, actively seeking out opportunities, imposing his will on the game. It's likely the Timberwolves offense really emphasized spacing, movement, creating those driving lanes for him.
Setting him up.
And crucially, his teammates clearly trusted him. They were looking for him to make plays in those big moments. That combination, individual assertiveness within a supportive team structure, that can be incredibly potent. He didn't just knock on superstardom's door.
He kicked it off the hinges.
Exactly.
Okay, now this is tough, but we have to pivot to LeBron James.
Yeah.
Given his legendary status, how he's defied Father Time for so long.
Yeah.
But the analysis here is blunt.
It doesn't pull punches.
Tonight, Time finally caught up with him. Cooked in the fourth quarter. Oof.
It's hard to read, but watching the game...
We saw it, didn't we?
Yeah.
That intercepted pass in a critical moment. A drive to the rim that just lacked that usual explosion.
And just the overall look, that expression of exhaustion.
Yeah. The question posed is stark. Maybe. This was the night LeBron James officially got old EOD. It's a tough pill to swallow for any basketball fan, really.
It really is.
In your experience, what are those subtle signs, even for the greatest players, when they might be feeling the wear and tear in a high-pressure playoff game like this?
It often shows up in like slight hesitations, maybe a fraction of a second slower on a reaction, or perhaps relying more on guile, on experience over just sheer athleticism in moments where previously they might have just exploded past someone.
Using the old tricks instead of the power moves.
Right, and in the fourth quarter, especially in the playoffs, those tiny margins, they get magnified. Any dip, physical or mental, it can be heavily exploited by a young, determined opponent like the Wolves.
But look, this Timberwolves win wasn't just the Anthony Edwards show, was it?
Not at all. That's crucial.
The commentary we've seen really highlights their collective strength. They played with heart, soul, and balls. That's a direct quote.
And you saw it. Naz Reid dominating the paint.
Huge presence. McDaniels hitting massive shots, playing lockdown D.
Clutch defense, clutch threes. He was everywhere.
And Mike Conley, just Mr. Steady, ice in his veins. That veteran composure.
Absolutely vital for a young team like that.
It feels like their sum was genuinely greater than their individual parts on this night.
Yeah.
How crucial is that kind of team-wide contribution in the playoffs, especially against a team supposedly loaded with star power?
Oh, it's absolutely essential. You can't survive otherwise. Playoff basketball is a grind.
Right.
Relying solely on one or two guys to carry the load every single night, it's rarely a sustainable path to a championship.
It wears them down.
Exactly. When you have multiple players stepping up, making big contributions on both ends, it creates a much tougher challenge for the other team to game plan against.
Makes you unpredictable.
And it fosters that sense of shared responsibility, resilience within the team itself. They believe they could win together.
Now, the Lakers role players, they did have some moments. We should acknowledge that.
Sure. Austin Reeves had a strong second half, hit some big threes.
And Rui Hachimura knocked down that huge three down the stretch.
He did.
But the analysis basically dismisses it as too little too late. Like they were being asked to be saviors when the stars faltered.
The crutches, as the commentary put it.
Yeah, crutches. The underlying point being, in the playoffs, you absolutely need your superstars to lead the way. Do you buy that? That ultimately it comes down to your best players performing at their peak.
There's definitely a lot of truth to that. I mean, while role players can absolutely provide valuable support, they can even swing games sometimes.
Steal a quarter here or there?
Right. But consistently winning at the highest level, series after series, it often requires your key players, your stars, to deliver truly impactful performances, especially in those critical stretches.
When the game is on the line.
Exactly. When the stars falter, the burden on the supporting cast becomes immense and the margin for error just shrinks dramatically.
Okay, let's talk about those final decisive minutes. Because the commentary paints this picture of just a complete Lakers meltdown.
The collapse of a dynasty is how it was framed. Strong stuff.
Extremely strong. McDaniels with a steal and that dagger three. Edwards calmly sinking his free throws.
Ice cold.
And the Lakers just looking.
Yeah.
Lost. Scrambling like headless chickens. That's the visual. No timeouts left, no answers.
It's just chaos on their side.
The buzzer sounds, and it's this resounding statement from Minnesota. We're here. Can those final moments, that intense pressure cooker, really encapsulate the entire narrative shift of a series?
I think they often do. Those final minutes can serve as a microcosm of the entire game, maybe even the series up to that point.
Right.
And they can definitely signify a shift in momentum, in confidence, the ability to execute under pressure, make winning plays when the stakes are absolutely highest. That reveals a team's true character, their mettle.
And the opposite reveals.
Well, conversely, visible disarray, crucial errors in those moments, that can be psychologically damaging. It suggests deeper issues than just one bad stretch.
And speaking of issues, the Lakers' defense in this game gets absolutely hammered in the analysis.
Yeah, justifiably so, watching it back.
Called a sad excuse for defense. We hear about Edwards just waltzing to the rim at will.
Re-bullying them in the paint.
Conley slicing right through them. The commentary questions their effort, their pride. Did they just underestimate the Timberwolves?
It certainly looked like it. Maybe they expected to win by reputation alone.
How much does a lack of defensive intensity reveal about a team's focus? their preparation heading into a massive playoff game.
It's often a huge red flag. A lack of defensive intensity can indicate a lack of focus, maybe a failure to respect what the opponent can do offensively.
Or even just fatigue setting in.
Or underlying fatigue, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, where every single possession is critical, a porous defense is just, well, it's a recipe for disaster against a hungry, talented team like Minnesota showed they are.
Even the betting odds got pulled into this.
Aha, yeah, saw that reference to primetime picks.
The analysis basically says anyone who thought the Lakers were LOSI
Got played.
Because the Timberwolves came in with more hunger, more hustle, and more heart.
It wasn't about the names on the jerseys in that game.
And there's this vivid analogy. Betting against Edwards right now is like stepping in front of a freight train wearing flip-flops.
Chuckles, that paints a picture.
Does this just illustrate how sometimes those intangibles, hunger, hustle, can just completely outweigh perceived advantages on paper?
Oh, absolutely. While stats and talent comparisons give you a framework, the playoffs often boil down to which team has that extra level of desire, that edge.
And who executes.
And executes their game plan with greater intensity. This game is just a prime example of how a team playing with more urgency, more determination, can overcome an opponent maybe favored on reputation or past glory.
So let's look at the big picture now. Lakers down 3-1.
A deep hole.
LeBron looked human, maybe even old. Luka looked frustrated and lost at times. And the Timberwolves are howling at the moon, riding this incredible high.
Complete contrast in momentum.
The big question everyone's asking, is this the end of the Lakers' playoff hopes? The analysis is pretty definitive. Unless a miracle happens, yeah, it's over.
It's harsh, but...
Is it really that bleak? Facing a 3-1 deficit in the NBA playoffs. What do the history books say about those odds?
Historically, the odds are extremely slim. It's not impossible it has happened.
Rarely.
Very rarely. It requires a near-perfect run from the trailing team, 4 straight wins under immense pressure, and often some kind of collapse or significant struggle from the team holding the lead.
Which doesn't look likely with Minnesota right now.
Given the momentum, the way the Timberwolves are playing, the confidence they have, the Lakers face a monumental, almost unprecedented challenge. The analysis uses imagery like, call the coroner, call the funeral director.
Wow. The Lakers' 2025 playoff run is on life support, and the plug is about to be pulled.
That's about as definitive as it gets.
But for the Timberwolves, this feels huge, right? Like a truly monumental moment for that franchise.
Oh, massive. It's not just a win, it's a statement echoing across the entire league.
The commentary really leans into this idea of the next generation not waiting, but actively taking it.
And Edwards embodies that.
Anthony Edwards isn't asking permission. He demanded it.
Yeah.
He took it. And the Lakers are just another stepping stone in his legend.
That's the narrative now. He seized the moment.
The conclusion is so emphatic. Game 4 wasn't a fluke. It was a revolution. Long live the new king. Is it really the dawn of a new era in the NBA? With Edwards and these Timberwolves right at the forefront.
You know, this game certainly feels like a potentially significant turning point. Edwards emerging as this truly dominant force.
And the Timberwolves playing such cohesive team ball around him.
It suggests a potential shift, yeah, in the league's competitive balance. It highlights the rise of these young, hungry teams, really challenging the established powers.
Shaking things up.
Which could lead to a much more dynamic, maybe more unpredictable NBA landscape in the seasons coming up. Game 4 felt like more than just one game.
It felt like a message was sent. Absolutely incredible to witness. Hey, if you, the listener, found this deep dive into Game 4 as gripping as we did.
And how could you not?
Right. Then go ahead and smash that like button and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown. Because we want to hear from you. What was the most shocking moment of Game 4 for you? Was it LeBron looking tired, Luka's frustration, Edwards' explosion?
Or maybe the Wolves team defense stepping up.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below.
Your insights are valuable, and honestly, the conversation just continues beyond this deep dive. We really encourage you to share your reactions, engage with the discussion around this truly pivotal playoff game.
We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on how this series unfolds. Maybe there's a Game 5 twist.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We'll see if the Lakers have one last gasp.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Peace.